Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be focusing on Lady Sawda bint Zama'a,
Mm-hmm.
the second wife of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, when I first started reading about her, I was like, wait, she wasn't known for her beauty?
Right.
Okay, what's the story here?
Yeah.
But the more I dug in, the more fascinated I became.
Uh-huh.
This isn't your typical love story at all.
It really isn't. And what's so captivating about Lady Sawda's story is that it flips the script on what we often hear about women in history.
Yeah.
Her strength of character,
Mm-hmm.
her deep faith, and her unwavering commitment to Islam.
Right.
Those are the qualities that really shine through.
Right, and all of that during a time of immense change and upheaval.
Exactly.
We're talking about the very early days of Islam.
Yes.
A period when the faith was still finding its footing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that context makes her story even more compelling.
Absolutely. Imagine the world Lady Sawda was living in.
Yeah.
Societal norms being challenged, new beliefs taking root,
Mm.
and the very real threat of persecution.
Wow.
She was one of the very first converts to Islam.
Really?
And even before marrying the Prophet, she was a widow and a single mother.
Oh, wow.
That takes incredible courage.
Okay, so you've got a woman who's already faced hardship, made a bold choice to embrace a new faith,
Yes.
and is now raising children on her own.
Uh-huh.
What does that say about her personality?
Wow.
What kind of person was she?
We know that after the passing of his first wife, Khadijah, the Prophet was left alone to care for his 4 daughters.
Right.
It was a time of great sorrow for him,
Yeah.
and he needed someone who could provide not just emotional support, but also practical help in managing his household.
And that's where Lady Sawda enters the picture, right? She
Yeah.
was suggested as a potential match.
Exactly.
And it wasn't because of her beauty or social standing.
Mm-hmm.
It was because she was a Muslim,
Yes.
a single mother herself,
Uh-huh.
and likely very capable.
Exactly. And that really challenges our modern day assumptions, doesn't it?
It really does.
The community saw in her the qualities that truly mattered.
Yeah.
Faith, resilience, and the ability to nurture a family.
I'm struck by the fact that sources even mention visions experienced by both Sawda and her late husband,
Right.
foreshadowing her marriage to the Prophet.
Yeah,
It adds this element of destiny to the story.
it does.
What do you make of those accounts?
Those accounts, while fascinating, aren't universally accepted by all scholars.
Okay.
Some view them as symbolic, highlighting the significance of this union, while others interpret them more literally.
Okay.
But regardless of how you interpret them,
Right.
they definitely add a layer of mystique to the narrative.
Totally. Okay, so we've got this strong, resilient woman who's chosen to be the Prophet's wife,
Yeah.
not for superficial reasons, but for her character.
Mhm.
And then there's the whole migration thing.
Yes.
She didn't just convert to Islam, she lived it.
Right.
Twice.
Uh-huh.
First to Abyssinia and then to Medina,
Mhm.
even before the Prophet.
Think about that for a moment. Leaving everything behind, embarking on dangerous journeys, all for the sake of your faith.
Wow.
These migrations weren't just physical journeys.
Right.
They were tests of faith and resilience.
Wow. And she didn't even hesitate to bring the Prophet's daughters along with her to Medina.
Mm-hmm.
One source even mentioned Lady Ruqayya going with Sawda and her husband to Abyssinia.
Wow.
That says a lot about their bond.
Yeah.
It wasn't just duty.
Wow.
There was genuine affection there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture of Lady Sawda as a nurturing figure.
Yeah.
Someone who prioritized the well-being of others even amidst her own challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recurring theme we see throughout her life.
And this leads us to what I find most intriguing about Lady Sawda,
Okay.
her contentment.
Yeah.
We'll delve deeper into this later.
Okay.
And it's worth pointing out, think about it, she finds happiness within the Prophet's household.
Right.
A household that wasn't exactly conventional even for that time.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yep.
Especially when you consider that contentment wasn't tied to material possessions or social status.
Right.
She found her wealth in her faith,
Mm-hmm.
her service to others,
Yeah.
and her unwavering acceptance of Allah's decree.
And that makes me think about something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Lady Sawda wasn't chosen for her beauty.
right.
It was her inner strength, her faith, her compassion that truly mattered.
Precisely, she embodies this beautiful hadith narrated by Abu Huraira.
Mm-hmm.
True wealth is not in an abundance of worldly possessions,
Yeah.
but in contentment with what one possesses.
Okay, so we're starting to get a clearer picture of Lady Sawda,
Yes.
a woman of incredible inner strength and deep faith,
Yeah.
who prioritizes the well-being of others
Mm-hmm.
and finds contentment not in worldly possessions,
Right.
but in service and devotion.
Yes. And that's just the beginning. Her stories take some surprising turns,
What?
challenging our assumptions and offering us a truly unique perspective on love sacrifice and what it means to live a fulfilling life.
Sounds like we've got a lot more to unpack. Let's dive into the next chapter of Lady Sawda's life, where we'll explore her relationships within the Prophet's household and her contributions to the early Muslim community. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. As we dig deeper into Lady Sawda's life, it's important to remember the context of the time.
Yeah.
Polygamy was a societal norm then,
Right.
and the Prophet's multiple marriages often served social and political purposes.
You're right. It's easy to view things through a modern lens and make judgments. But that's not what this deep dive is about.
Right.
What I'm really curious about is how Lady Sawda navigated that unique environment.
Yeah.
What was her experience like within the Prophet's household?
Well, from the sources we have, she was known for her cheerful and good-humored nature.
Okay.
She actually brought a lot of joy to the household.
That's really heartwarming to hear.
Yeah.
Especially considering she could have easily felt insecure or jealous,
Right.
given the presence of other wives, some of whom were younger.
It seems Lady Sawda wasn't driven by those worldly concerns. Her focus was on her faith, her service to the Prophet and his family,
Right.
and her own inner peace, and that really speaks to her character.
I'm also curious about her relationship with the other wives.
Yeah.
Particularly Aisha,
Mm,
who is often portrayed as the Prophet's most beloved wife.
right.
What was their dynamic like?
It might surprise you to hear this, but the sources depict a strong bond between them.
Okay.
Despite the age difference, Sawda and Aisha were quite close.
Wow.
Aisha even referred to Sawda as a mother figure,
Oh, wow.
often seeking her advice and guidance.
So not only did Sawda care for the Prophet's daughters,
Right.
but she also formed a strong supportive relationship with his other wives.
Exactly.
It really flips the script on that stereotypical image of a polygamous household filled with drama and tension.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Lady Sawda's story reminds us that human relationships are complex and multifaceted,
Yeah,
even within a structure that might seem unconventional to us today.
right.
Genuine affection and respect can flourish.
And it's not just within the household that we see Lady Sawda's generosity of spirit. The sources describe her as being incredibly charitable,
Yes.
often giving away her possessions to those less fortunate.
Her charitable nature is well documented.
Yeah.
It reinforces this idea that her true wealth lay in her contentment and compassion,
Right.
not in material possessions.
So far, we've seen Lady Sawda as a devoted wife,
Uh-huh.
a caring mother figure, a supportive friend, and a generous philanthropist.
Yes.
What about her role in the wider Muslim community?
Okay.
Did she participate in public life or contribute to the growing Islamic movement?
While she might not be as well known for her public role as some of the other wives of the Prophet,
Okay.
she was a respected member of the community.
Yeah.
She witnessed firsthand the development of Islam, participated in its rituals,
Right.
and likely offered her wisdom and counsel to those around her.
Given her experience and deep understanding of the faith, it's easy to imagine her serving as a source of guidance, especially for younger women in the community new to Islam.
Absolutely, and her personal story of migrating twice to her faith would have been incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
She was a living testament to the strength and resilience of Muslim women during that time.
It's amazing how her life seems to be this quiet testament to faith and service.
Yeah.
It's different from the stories we often hear about powerful figures in history
Uh,
who led armies or built empires.
That's a great point. Lady Sawda's story reminds us that impact doesn't always come from grand gestures or positions of authority.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the quiet acts of kindness, the unwavering faith, and the consistent commitment to serving others that leave the most enduring legacy.
This deep dive is already making me rethink how I define power and influence. It's clear Lady Sawda had both,
Right.
but in a way that's not always celebrated in our world.
I think that's a profound insight.
Hmm.
Her story encourages us to reconsider our own priorities and definitions of success.
Yeah.
What if true wealth lies not in what we possess, but in how we live, how we treat others, and how we find contentment within ourselves?
Those are questions worth reflecting on, but there's one aspect of Lady Sawda's later life that I find particularly intriguing.
Okay.
It speaks to her selflessness and deep understanding of the complexities of relationships.
I think I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah.
It challenges our assumptions and invites us to reconsider the traditional narratives surrounding the Prophet's marriages.
Right.
It's a story that needs its own space to properly unfold.
You're right. It's not something to just gloss over. This story deserves our full attention. Let's move on to the next part of our deep dive, where we'll uncover this compelling chapter in Lady Sawda's life and unpack the lessons it holds. Welcome back. We've been exploring the incredible life of Lady Sawda.
Hmm.
And there's one story that, for me, perfectly captures her extraordinary character.
Right.
It happened later in her life, and it's a little unexpected. It really made me rethink what I thought I knew about love and sacrifice.
It's a story that definitely challenges our assumptions, especially about relationships in that era.
Right.
As we discussed, the prophet had multiple wives, and it's natural to assume there might have been some degree of jealousy or rivalry within the household.
Exactly, and that's what makes this story so powerful. Instead of jealousy or insecurity, we see Lady Sada's profound generosity and her willingness to put the prophet's well-being above her own desires.
So for our listener who hasn't encountered this before, tell us what happened.
Okay, so as Lady Sawda got older,
Hmm.
she realized that she might not be able to fulfill all the duties of a wife in the way she once did, but she was still deeply devoted to the prophet and also incredibly selfless.
Right.
So what did she do?
Yeah.
She offered to relinquish her position as his wife,
Wow.
essentially giving up her place to another.
That's a remarkable act of selflessness, especially considering the societal norms of the time.
Yeah.
A woman's position as a wife held significant social standing and security.
Right.
For Lady Sada to willingly offer to relinquish, that speaks volumes about her character.
And think about what it says about her understanding of love. She understood that the prophet needed companionship and support, and she was willing to step aside if it meant ensuring his happiness.
It really challenges the often simplistic and sometimes even distorted portrayals of polygamy in early Islam.
Yeah.
In this instance, we see a complex and nuanced relationship where compassion, respect, and selflessness are paramount.
It makes you wonder, what was the prophet's reaction to all of this?
Well, he declined her offer.
Oh, wow.
He chose to honor their bond and expressed his deep respect for her.
It's a beautiful testament to the love and respect that existed between them. It wasn't simply a transactional relationship,
Right.
but a genuine connection built on mutual admiration and understanding.
Exactly. And it also sheds light on the prophet's character.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily accepted her offer,
Right.
but he chose to value her sacrifice and maintain their bond. It's a very human story full of complex emotions and difficult choices.
I find it so moving. It's not about romance in the conventional sense, but about something much deeper. It's about Lady Sawda's profound understanding of love and her willingness to sacrifice for the well-being of someone she cared for deeply.
And it's a reminder that true love doesn't always fit neatly into predefined boxes or societal expectations.
Right.
It can manifest in unconventional ways through acts of selflessness, understanding, and profound respect.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the life of Lady Sawda bint Zama'a, what's the biggest takeaway you think our listeners should carry with them?
For me, it's the quiet power of inner strength. Lady Sawda might not have led armies or made grand pronouncements, but her life was a testament to the strength that comes from unwavering faith, profound contentment, and a heart filled with compassion.
I completely agree. Her story reminds us that true wealth doesn't lie in external possessions, but in the richness of our inner world. It's about cultivating contentment, prioritizing others, and finding joy in serving those around us. She really embodies those values.
Yes, and perhaps it's also an invitation to challenge our own assumptions, to look beyond the surface and seek a deeper understanding of the complexities of human relationships and the diverse ways in which love, respect, and sacrifice can manifest. Lady Sada's story is full of those quiet lessons.
So well said. And as we leave Lady Sawda's story behind, I think it's worth pondering this. How can we embody her quiet strength, her unwavering faith, and her profound contentment in our own lives in a world that often prizes the opposite?
That's a powerful question to leave our listener with. It's a reminder that Lady Sada's story is not just a historical account, but a source of timeless wisdom that can guide us towards living more fulfilling and meaningful lives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.